everybody, and this is a big one, emotional intelligence / emotional support. Okay, and I kind of put them together. I know they're different, but how much emotional support can you really give if you're emotionally stupid? Okay, so we're kind of putting them together. Emotional intelligence and emotional support. Again, this is a super vulnerable space. Think about just being a child for a second. Let's put our Mr. Rogers hats on for a second. Just the experience of being a child is so vulnerable. You're completely dependent. Yet you're open and you're curious at the same time. At least healthy environment. And so that is the energy that your little is engaging in. They're engaging in this, I am down here looking at a big world. And I feel so small, and I'm allowing myself to feel small by the world. And I'm allowing myself to embrace a feeling of freedom, feeling small. And I'm allowing myself to not be scared or intimidated or anxious when I feel small. And whatever comes out is okay when I feel small. I can fully cry. I can fully play. I can fully laugh. I can fully get out of my head. Whatever it is. So there's a lot of emotions in little space. A lot of emotions in little space. Where it's almost, I wouldn't say it's the opposite, but as a dominant with a submissive who's not an age player, I have very high standards. And I demand a certain level of intelligence, emotional intelligence, healing, inner healing. I expect a certain level, and I will train this in my submissive, but I expect a certain level of emotional autonomy and self-control. But for a little, I just kind of sink into a very different mentality as a dominant, because I know the expectations that I would have for a little and a submissive are completely different. If I have a little, I know this is not the dynamic where I'm going to get like that ongoing domestic service and my drinks made and my food cooked and all that. No, I know that a lot of this is going to be mutual giving, mutual give and take. You know, this is not just the little kid gloves, literally. Yeah. And so I think it's really, the set of expectations are very different. And so that's why I think emotional intelligence and emotional support, the ability to give emotional support, is a non-negotiable. I've seen a lot of dominance, and I've even done this too, where you don't have to be vulnerable as a dominant. You're getting all the vulnerability from that submissive, and oh my goodness, you can gobble it up and get filled up as a dominant, but you don't have to be vulnerable. You can stay behind this big badass dominant wall, and you don't have to get vulnerable. But that is not good. That's not what's going to create that connection with a little. And so I think with a little, it's non-negotiable that you're willing to be a little bit vulnerable too, and a little open too, and give that emotional support in a way that you normally wouldn't, or typically wouldn't, with a complete, no regression whatsoever. Does that make sense?